Hello, I hope that you are having a great Thursday. Today, we are doing a Thoughtful Thursday, and we are talking about the biggest struggle that I see with clients and the most helpful question that I have found that is helpful for clients. So, the biggest struggle that I see in working with brand new clients when I have the common question is, how do I overcome emotional eating? Like, how does this actually work? Can I overcome emotional eating? Um, and another common question that's very related to that is, why can't I stick to anything? I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. How do I stick to it? How do I stick to healthy eating? And while there's so many reasons, and that is the perfect question to ask, that is exactly what we talk about in the 8-week Living Blissfully Healthy program. But in a synopsis of it, a lot of it comes down to power, personal power. Um, and the second thing that comes down to is trusting in your own self and your body. So, what does that mean? So, diets drive the sense of powerlessness. Diets for emotional eaters, as you've heard me say before, are more harmful than helpful for any emotional eater. And the more that we try to restrict and control food, the more at some point we're going to find ourselves in an emotional eating backlash. Okay, so the reason that is because the emotional eating has been there to help you emotionally survive, whether that was something traumatic, something difficult, or even in joyful situations in life. And what ends up happening is the brain creates this neural network of that says, oh, whenever I feel this feeling, go to food. Emotional eating is a solution because at one time in life, when you most needed love and comfort and survival, you found food and it gave you what you needed. The brain makes that connection. And so that's why we cannot outthink ourselves out of an emotional eating challenge, and why diets don't work, because diets really operate from the prefrontal cortex of the thinking brain and says, do this, but not do that. Okay, so instead, what we want to do is we want to be able to use emotional tools to help us go through that. Personal power is connected to that, because if we don't feel like we have our personal power, we're going to try to reassert it in some way eventually when we get fed up. So the diet says don't eat cheese. All of a sudden, you might find yourself, my goodness, I'm going to go on my diet on Monday. So I might as well get all the cheese in and anything I can right now to make myself so sick. So I'll never want it again when I start my diet on Monday. So that is how you're trying to find your power. You're trying to get it while you can, because now I'm going to be powerless. I'm not going to have the freedom to choose to eat the cheese starting Monday. And then eventually you get sick of not being able to have that sense of autonomy and power. And eventually, also emotions drive, like, oh, I'm stressed out. I had a long day at work, had a disagreement with the spouse or the partner or the friend. And so now I'm going to turn to food. So that's why we want to be able to take our power back and say, and we do that through the specific process in the program, by being able to get out of the diet mentality. So powerlessness drives emotional eating. Powerlessness creates more emotional eating, and diets keep that cycle going as well. The second thing is going to be also when it comes to trusting yourself. So if you kind of go back to a common cycle in cognitive behavioral therapy, could be my beliefs trigger my thoughts, which trigger my feelings, which trigger my behaviors, which trigger my results, and those results prove back to my behavior and says, see, I told you. So if we go through that, if we kind of take that philosophy and we say, okay, how does one trust that they can have food that they enjoy and be able to stop? so there's a sense of I can't trust myself around food is what I hear a lot from clients. And that's how I felt as well at some point before I went through my healing process. Um, and so when you go through a diet and you have that binge, that episode of emotional eating where you get fed up and you eat all the cheese because you're starting your diet on Monday, when you are eating all of the cheese and binging on it, because you're trying to reassert your power and choice and control, well, then what ends up happening is you're proving more to yourself that you can't be trusted. You're saying, see, I had some and I'm out of control again. And it's proving to the belief that once I have a little bit, I can't trust myself. I'm out of control. When in reality, it's the diets that are really driving that again, right? So you're seeing that cycle. So we have to get off the diet roller coaster. We need to stop dieting. It's a miserable way to live anyways. If you continue on the cycle, just think 20 years from now, do you still want to be on a roller coaster of dieting? That's a miserable existence of being on and off a roller coaster of binging and restricting, binging and restricting. Like that's miserable. And we want to get you off of that. So little by little, once we get out of that diet mentality, the emotional brain calms down and says, oh, okay, you're not going to take away my cheese. Okay, that's good. Okay, everything's going to be all right. And now you don't want the cheese as much. So that's kind of just a little bit of an example of being able to, like, now I don't want the cheese. Okay, I can trust myself a little bit more about cheese. This is just a little bit of information. Of course, there's more to it that we need to walk through, but just to give you some pieces of it, you can learn to trust yourself again around food. If you think about a child, like an infant or even a young toddler, um, I know when my kids were growing up a little bit younger, and even now, with my youngest, I can just I put food in front of them and he eats it and he's like, I'm done. I don't want anymore. And this is even around sweets. And little kids do that. And you did that at one point. Yes, you did. But it's all these things that happen in life that make you abandon your own internal cues of what you need, and the difficult times in life develop pathways in the brain that says go to this way to the food. So we need to dismantle those pathways and heal those pathways, which we do by using emotional tools and healing through that process. And then we also need to rebuild trust in ourselves, that we can trust our hunger cues. And if the cheese is never going to be taken away, now I can have it whenever I want it. And it's no longer bedazzled. Like I need to get it all in right now before I can no longer have it. And we learn how to trust ourselves and like, see, I had a little bit and I didn't overindulge in it because I know I can have it whenever I want to, because I don't have to get it all in right now before it's going to be taken away. Hopefully that's making a little bit of sense. They're really connected, personal power and rebuilding that self-trust. Just remember, you had these skills at one time, but they got chipped away a little bit throughout your life because of life circumstances. And all we need to do is rebuild those up and through a specific process. And I would love to be able to help you do that if this sounds like it's something that you could benefit from. So thank you for being here today and listening to this thoughtful Thursday talk that we're having today. Next week will be the last one that we will be doing. I will be taking a few months off because I'm having major surgery. It's something that I've needed for a while, and for my hip. And so I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. So hopefully no longer being in chronic pain. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a few months off. But I'm hoping that these videos will be a resource for you. You can come back and watch these and go through the Facebook page. I will leave it open so that you can have access to this. And if you do want some more of support, I do have an online program that I'm going to be launching August 1st, where you can have access to that and go through specific videos like this. You can walk through the 8-week Living Blissfully Healthy program at a self-paced and self-guided way. There's about 8 to 10 hours of just really great coaching that you can have access to. They're cut into short videos so you can absorb it. You have a workbook that can be a part of that as well. And so look for that because I will be launching that here really soon. And if you want more between now and August 1st, I also have the 5-day virtual retreat that you can sign up for as well. So I want to make sure you have lots of great support. Thank you for being here. And I'll look forward to having our last chat next Thursday at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I will look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.